Is this thing going? What's up, everybody? Aaron Morton here with Aaron Morton Real Estate. Look, so I was asked a question through the week. Did I have any newbie real estate stories that I would like to tell? And yeah, man, I do, man. I got a few, several, man. So I've been in the business now going on 12 years. And man, I've had some stories, but there's one particular story. It was in my first year, and I will never forget this story because it was one of the most embarrassing things to ever happen to me so far as a real estate agent. So let me break it down. It's a little backstory behind it, but then it's going to get going. So you got to bear with me, but I'm gonna try and get through this one as fast as possible. So my first year, I was with Remax Specialists up in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, and I had a mentor at the time. Shout out to my man Vashawn Hargrove. He was putting me on the game to how to be a better real estate agent, and so I was hyped, man. I was amped. I wanted to get my first deal, and I got a call that came through to the office, man. It was a lady saying that she wanted to buy a brand new home that was down there, the MGM. If you're not familiar with the Washington, D.C. area, there's a casino in Oxon Hill, Maryland, and they were building these brand new three-story townhomes, brick front, all that good stuff, right? So I was like, yeah, man, I'm about to, and they were going for probably, I think at the time, maybe high fives or something like that. In my mind, I was like, yeah, that's about to be a great deal. I'm about to knock this one out the park, and I'm about to be the one up here in the Remax, right? So the lady called me. I talked to her for a while. I pre-qualified her, what I thought was pre-qualifying her. So I asked her all the questions that my man LaShawn told me to ask, and it seemed like it was legit, right? So the lady told me, she said, "Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I bring my bring my pre-approval when we meet up later on. Can we meet down at the townhouses?" I was like, "Sure, no problem. I'll call the sales agent, let her know that we're coming, so I can set up an appointment to go view the homes and all that good stuff, right?" So I get to the place, of course, 15 minutes early. I'm amped. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to get me my first deal done. Not thinking that there's so much more to go along with it, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, she's supposed to have been here at 11 o'clock. What's going on, right? Called her cell phone, no answer. I was like, man, she got me. The next thing you know, I just happened to look up from my phone and I see a lady walking up the hill to the sales office. Now I never met this lady yet. This is the first time I only talked to her on the phone. And she says to me, "Are you Aaron? Are you Aaron?" "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I'm Aaron." So I'm hyped now, right? So I'm ready to go in. I'm ready to talk to the sales agent. Went inside with the sales agent. Sales agent says to me, "Okay, great. This is your client." "Yeah, this is my client, such and such. Yeah, we would like to go view one of the homes. She's very interested." Okay, so I got the key, went up, toured the home, took about 30, 45 minutes, walked through every inch of that house. I'm still hyped, by the way, because I'm like, yeah, I got this one in the bag. Now, let me stop right there. First and foremost, the lady was just like she had some money. And I hate to say it like that, but she was dressed like she had some money, which was awesome. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be great. In the meantime, while we walked through, she was telling me how she was the CEO of a corporate company. She also was like a pastor at a church. She has a lot of money that she was gonna put down on the house. Hear me, a lot of money to put down on the house. It's like, okay, great. So yeah, this is gonna be awesome. So keep going through the house. We stay up in all the rooms. We go through all the rooms. We look at every inch of the house, right? So by this time, I said we started around 11:15. By this time, it's probably 1 o'clock. Too much time to be wasting in a showing, right? But this person wanted to see every inch of the house. They loved it, so on and so forth. So I was like, all right, Miss Such and Such, looks like you like this house. You ready to go back to the sales office, talk to the sales rep. Let's get this thing under wraps, right? She's like, yeah, let's go. I'm ready. All right, cool beans. So now we walk back down to the sales office, sitting in there. Person comes back out, gets the paper, get all the stuff ready to go, right? I'm sitting there back like this in the chair, like, feeling proud, feeling great that this is about to be my first deal after being in the business probably 3 months, right? No deals, first deal, I'm thinking, right? So, lady comes out, sales rep comes out, gives the lady the paper. She starts to sign it. She says, well, Miss Such and Such, do you have the earnest money deposit to put down? It's going to be 3% of the sales price. The lady saw the number. She jumped back a little bit. In my head, I'm like, uh-oh. But the jump back was, sure, I got that. I definitely got that money. I could do it. How do you like it? How would you want to do it? Would you like it in a check, money order, cash? So the sales rep says, well, I would prefer you write a check, or if you had a money order, you can go get a money order. Well, the lady said, well, I took the bus here, so in my mind, I was like, you know what? I didn't see her get out of a car, and she took the bus. Nothing wrong with that. But where the MGM is located and where we are, I can't remember there being any type of bus routes, and I know that it's going to cost, or it's going to be a nice ride to get there, right? On a bus. So we keep going. I'm starting to think like, okay, yeah, I didn't see her get out of her car or anything, but okay, we're gonna keep going with this. People ride the bus all the time. A lot of people don't drive, right? So the lady starts digging in her bag. She's like, I'm going to write a check. I'm like, all right, yeah, let's keep this thing going. Lady digs in her bag. She says, you know what? I don't have my checkbook, but I do have this. The lady pulls out a actual written check with no name in it, but it had an amount of $10,000 on it, right? And in my head, I'm like, well, where does this lady get this check from? She didn't have her checkbook, but she has a check that she wants to use. So now I'm starting to think, like, something ain't right here, right? But I kept going. I was still feeling good about it. You know, everything was still going good. The sales rep was looking at me funny. I'm looking at the sales rep funny. And then the lady says, you know what? I don't want to use this check. I got to use this for something else. As you can see, I don't have my car, so I'm going to use this for my car payment later. So in my head, I'm like, okay, so now what we're going to do? Lady doesn't have her checkbook. She's not going to use that check. I done spent an hour and a half showing this lady a house. All right, now I'm starting to get worried. Here comes the crazy part. The lady, I kid you not, the lady says, you know what, I got one more option for you, sales rep. I hope you're able to take this, and we can go ahead and get this thing wrapped up. So meanwhile, the sales rep, okay, no problem. Just before you do that, go ahead and fill out everything here. Let's start to get the paperwork, blah, 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 right? Here's the kicker. Sales rep comes back down from the office. Lady says, I have this money right here I can give you. The sales rep eyes got like this. And then she looks at me. And now I'm behind the lady, and I'm like, what's wrong? What happened? The lady pulls out a wad of fake money. A wad of fake money. The sales rep looks at me, looks back at the lady. The lady's like, what? What's wrong with this? Sales rep looks back at me. I look back at the sales rep. I look at the lady. I kid you not. I just got up. I walked out, went to my car, and drove off. Now, if that was the right thing to do or not, I don't know. But at that moment, I had to get out of there because I was extremely embarrassed. I didn't know what to do, and I panicked. Mind you, this was my first real time going out with somebody. I thought I did all the pre-qualifying. I thought I did everything I was supposed to do, but I really didn't. So, mind you, I got in my car and I just drove off. Now, I know that was the wrong thing to do. I totally wrong. I started to drive back like, man, I got to go back to Rashawn. I didn't even get a deal done. Man, I don't know what to tell him. I got to tell him that this lady put out some fake money. Man, oh, man. So I get back into the office. There was 4 people sitting in the lobby laughing at me. As soon as I walked into the lobby, everybody was laughing, dying laughing. I was like, what y'all laughing about? The sales rep had already called my office to tell the broker that I walked out and I brought a fraudulent person in there to buy a house. Yo, it had already hit the airwaves by the time I got back to the office. You talk about somebody being embarrassed, man. I just wanted to quit real estate altogether right then and there. But I did it, and I just had to bear it, man. And the first thing Rashawn told me was, man, you bust your cherry. And I was like, what? What are you talking about, right? So he went to the office and he told me, he said, look, man, you got to follow the rules of what I tell you. You can't skip steps. If you're going to pre-qualify somebody, pre-qualify them the right way. Make sure you have their pre-approval in hand before you start showing homes, because these type of situations are going to happen all the time. There's so many fraudulent people out there. They're going to get you caught up. So you got to be careful, man. Now, the sales rep says that you owe them an apology for bringing this fraudulent person in there. So you have to make that call. You have to man up, and you have to go and tell them, man, you screwed up. You're a first-time agent, all that other good stuff. But I will say that was probably the most embarrassing moment. But I had those other agents, man. I had to walk around for like a week. Everybody was just snickering under their breath, laughing at me, saying little jokes here and there, and I had to just bear it. You know what I'm saying? But as I was told later on from another vet agent in the office, that everybody has had those moments. Don't feel bad. You just had your first moment. Now you know what to do moving forward. So for all y'all young agents out there, or anybody looking to get into real estate, make sure you do your due diligence. Listen to your mentor. Make sure you pre-qualify people to the utmost before you start to take them out or take them as a client overall, because a lot of people will try to run game, try to run scam on you. So that was my probably biggest newbie moment as a real estate agent. And I got one more, and this is one that you know can't. Well, do I want to say this one? Yeah, I guess so. So going back just to close that one out, man. Make sure you pre-qualify everybody. It's probably the best thing that you can do as a real estate agent, as a new real estate agent. Don't fall into that trap, or you will get laughed at. Now, the second one came because I was extremely excited that I closed my first deal. Man, I closed my first deal. Shout out to Chris Charity and his wife. They were my first clients. I'll never forget them. I'm so grateful for them for being my first clients and believing in me. I actually helped them buy their first home. I helped them sell their first home, and I helped them buy their second home. So I'm forever grateful for them trusting in me. Shout out to Chris Charity. So let me just go ahead and move fast forward. So we closed the deal. Back then, Remax Specialists, I was still with them. They weren't doing direct deposit. We were still getting the actual physical check, right? So after the closing, I got my check from the office, and I was like, man, this check is over $8,000, right? Mind you, it took me forever to close my first deal. So the first thing happened, the first story, that was 3 months into the business. I didn't close my first deal until 6 months in the business, right? So I got that check. Man, I went straight to the bank. Straight to the bank. And this is probably the most arrogant thing that I did, and I should not have done it. And I always look back on it, and I'm like, I will never do that again. Ever. I took the check up to the counter, and I said, here's my check. I want you to deposit this. You're going to see a lot of this. You're going to see my face all the time. So here's the check. Boom. Cash it. Thank y'all very much. I'm out of here. Now, they didn't cash it, obviously. They just had to deposit it and things like that. But I told them, I remember telling them, like, you're going to see my face all the time in here closing these deals. Do you know I didn't close my next deal for 4 months? I didn't close my next deal for 4 months. And I had to face going back to my bank that I use when my next deal was closed to give them my next check. And I remember the lady, it was the same lady. I remember standing in line. I was like, man, I hope I don't get that teller. I hope I don't get that teller. I hope I don't get that teller. And guess what? Next person called out. I had that lady right there, that same teller. And she didn't say anything out of the ordinary. She didn't do anything like that. But I could tell she remembered me because she had her glasses down a little bit. She was looking up through her glasses. Gave me a little smirk. And she said, okay, Mr. Morton, this is another check for you. Congratulations, and see you next time. That's all she said to me, and I was like, thank you. And I was out. So those are my two stories that I have about being in real estate, man. As a newbie, I like going back reminiscing on those stories every now and then because it kind of humbles me and it keeps me grounded in this business, man. This business is tough, but if you know the ground rules and you know how to operate and you learn from your past mistakes, you will be successful. So if you are looking to get into real estate, you can reach out to me. I got a few other stories to tell you about that just made me a better real estate agent, aka now broker, which I'm proud of. So yeah, reach out to me if you got any questions. All right. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. So looking out for the next story next time. See y'all later.